in the book of Romans. We'll look at that means theological insight and, as we proceed. I didn't get that up there. There. These literary features. So let's think about this we've got a few minutes left here now. We can look at, this is really the question of, let me just get this question, what is it? And we can answer it from two perspectives. We're going to answer that quickly from the perspective of the Greco-Roman world, because Paul is writing to Gentiles and Jewish, the type of literature that they would expect. And let me go to the next slide to do this. Hold on. I think, I got confusified. Let's go backwards here. Romans is just a theological treatise, or it would be, after the body of the letter, a series of text each other constantly. So the way that they would approach an argument, they would act as though they're anticipating, really helps you understand more how why the letter is shaped the way it is. Now, this is what I wanted to get to right here, that Paul was brilliant and educated. We don't know if he was classically trained formally, but the forms of education in the Greco-Roman world were philosophy and rhetoric. So with rhetoric dealt with communication and persuasion. See, this is Cicero, and people were used to this. If you went to town meetings, if you went to government councils and you were listening to someone get up and speak, if you were in the marketplace, as Paul would do in Athens, and you were trying to get people's attention, do that today, to go stand out on the corner, even in a place where there are maybe many people, like in Times Square. I would see some people in Times Square. Has anyone ever been to Times Square and it's full of people in New York City? And I've seen people walking around with signs trying to preach like the end is here. That sounds like a caricature, but there's really people like that walking around. But can you imagine if you just set a box up and stood on it and tried to preach, outside the mall or something? You'd just be thought of as a nut. But people did that at that time, and when they did, they used very specific ways to does a lot of that in Romans. And this is an image of Paul by Raphael in Athens, and that's what you see Paul doing when he addresses the Athenian philosophers. I know that was the second bell. We need to end, but here, let me put this before you, because I said I wanted to finish the introduction. Well, instead of saying we're finished the introduction today, I can say we'll get into the text next week. So we'll finish the introduction and we'll be ready to start looking at the text next time. But what is what's called the diatribe? And I just wanted to put this before you go. It's called the diatribe. Let me move Cicero. All right, now watch. These are the rhetorical devices of diatribe that Paul employs in the book that we're really going to need to know in order to understand the book. And look, apostrophe, rhetorical questions, questions with abrupt answers, hyperbole, sorites, list, virtues and vices list, an explication of hardships, citing ancient Christian texts as authorities, using key or great figures in history to try to prove your point, to make your case. And there you have all those passages and all those references where you see Paul doing that. So it is a letter, but it is much more than that. That's looking at it from the Greco-Roman perspective. Next time we'll point out as well, from the Jewish perspective, we need to understand how he's writing. And then I want to go through an outline of the book and walk through the chapters with you together. So thank you for your good attention and for giving me that extra 2 minutes. I owe you 2 minutes. I'll see what I can do. May the Lord bless us on this Lord's Day.